Concord.
All right. Good. We're doing some work in the American Legion and getting bids.
We're done in Como?
Oh, yeah. You heard about it. Finch, right? That guy that was down
Yeah,
there.
Bobby Finch, yeah.
Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shame. Bobby used to work with my brother sometimes.
Bobby, have him right in the post.
Yeah, no.
You weren't bringing him back anyway.
Yeah.
My head's exploding. I don't get through it.
Well, Bobby brought it on himself
No,
too.
so people are
Because he was complaining before that he wasn't feeling good and everything. Everybody's telling him, go to the doctor, get checked
I do.
out.
Yeah, and
And then
I doctor
I'm like,
appointment on Wednesday.
Yeah,
They
well,
get a
after how many
walk.
people hollered
I
at
just
him.
sent out the Danny contact.
Super
Okay,
cool.
thank you.
Don't put your hands in my eyes. It's just like,
Thank
it's
you.
the second day. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I got my concrete in, so that's done. So the pavilion I'll go next year, now we're working on heat pump.
It's pushy,
Welcome and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You're helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
I think he's going, he was the guy that came from the school.
I mean, sure.
If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please wait and you will be joined into the conference.
Yeah, that killed us. Bobby was our plumber down there.
Like a major rehab to the turf field.
Did a lot of work for us.
Please announce
Building.
yourself.
So I met that one
Okay.
director and they're like, how do we turn the lights on?
You know, that was a shame. His big brother didn't have too many close friends, and Bobby was. That was like his.
Hi, this is Bob Baror from Daniels Porto and Lasardi on the line.
Hello. Hi, Bob.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good. We're starting in 2 minutes. Yeah, we have a couple minutes before the start. It's
This guy works for
uh,
Dave.
yeah, Dave Daniels couldn't make it, so
Yeah,
it's an attorney.
recognized voice.
Yeah. Bob, what's your last name again?
It's Baror, B-A-R-O-R.
I think probably get started if everybody's here. Let's come tonight.
All right. We're ready.
All ready? All right. Welcome, everybody, to the September 12th, 2023 Planning Board meeting. Going to open the meeting with the roll.
Peter Pinelli,
Here.
Lou Musella,
Yeah.
Rob Pfister.
Present. Lou, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yeah. No rush, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Did you guys get a chance to review the minutes from last
Yes.
meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have 81 Lakeside Drive up first.
Good morning, good evening,
Hey.
good afternoon,
Somewhere.
somewhere around there. All right, I am here today to propose a two-lot subdivision where one lot is allowed to be subdivided from the existing 6-acre parcel. And I'm proposing a two-lot subdivision, which would require a frontage variance and a driveway easement variance. It's formerly the Umshide property, of which 6 acres remains. The other 40-some-odd acres was sold to the village of Pawling for the water district. So that's the property that surrounds it to the, I believe, north and south.
So 3 lots altogether, right?
It would be 3 lots altogether, right? It's currently 1 lot of 6 acres, and I want to get 2 more lots,
Right.
which would require a driveway to come in off of Grandview and go across one of the lots to the center lot that is in between the existing house that is on Lakeside and the property that has the frontage on.
You back that up for me again and just start right from the beginning. You say there's 1 lot that you already have permission for, correct?
As of right, we have the frontage allowable for 1 lot and the access allowable for 1 lot.
Okay.
So what I'm proposing is to do 2 lots instead of 1.
That is 1 whole lot that I'm looking at right there.
This
correct?
is 1 6-acre lot,
Okay,
correct?
that's 1 6-acre lot. And
Yeah.
you want to subdivide it, I see 3 lots.
Correct.
You say you
The-
want to go 2 other lots.
I want 2 more, yes, in addition to the existing one, in addition to the
one is
existing
the
house.
whole one.
Yes, I
and You want
want,
to subdivide it into 3.
correct.
I took a ride by on the neighborhood today. Whereabouts do you want to come out onto Grandview, actually?
We have property line here on Grandview. It shows on your map right here, it's
Yep.
a 6 house in.
The
There's-
6
there's-
house.
There's 6 houses in from over here, and then this driveway comes in. And 6 houses in from the end
Okay,
there.
got that right.
And there's a driveway in there now, it's an existing driveway that's been used for farming for years.
And that driveway right now is used by one of these homes?
No,
It's not?
no, it was the driveway used for the
To go-
farm.
to go in the back.
Yeah, it was the driveway used for the farm, for the back of the farm. For the Upshide farm.
And why, what is it, you can't get the driveway in off of Lakeside?
There's water along, there's a stream that runs along here, there's a brook that runs along Lakeside here.
Oh, right. I see.
Into a pond in the front of the property.
Right.
Karen, I'm gonna jump to you and ask you a question about possibly endangered species that might be back there. So, in the event that there are, what does that do to a subdivision?
Well, we'd really need to consult the New York State DEC.
Right.
The applicant could begin consultation. You know, you as the planning board are responsible for avoiding significant adverse impacts to endangered species. I don't have the DEC environmental resource map of this site in front of me, but certainly I think this area is most likely considered significant for for endangered species. Any sort of permits or approvals would definitely require consultation with DEC. So
wouldn't it be wise for before you start going about this, wouldn't it be wise to contact the DEC first?
yeah, have you consulted the DEC about this site at all?
We did not, because the water is actually down on the lot that is going to be existing with the house. And so everything that is going to be subdivided is up in this, if you look on this map, it's all up in the field here, up on the top.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can kind of remember from the meetings about the wells.
Right.
They gave him a tough time about the bog turtle in here, and that was just putting 2 wells in.
Right, so I think what you're saying is that the aquatic resources appear to be on lots 1 and proposed lot 2.
No, it's all down in lot 1, this is all where the
Well, there's a
water-
stream here too, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right along this side, but where the house and the septic are.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you have that, okay.
But the thing about endangered species is that beyond,
They travel.
right,
Okay.
beyond the habitat, there is a travel corridor. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the best thing for you would be to reach out to them and
To
start a
DEC.
coordination. And then the idea is to share that information with us so that
Okay.
we are understanding how they feel about it.
Understood?
Mhm. Can you speak a little bit, sorry, Lou, are you finished or?
Yes, I was, but thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you speak a little bit about the driveway easement variance?
Okay, so the driveway easement variance, from what I understand, would be to put in a flag lot. So lot 2 would be considered a flag lot because it would come across lot 3. And so the driveway, from my understanding from village code, is that to traverse across one lot to get to another lot, I would need a driveway easement.
What's the distance between the septic on proposed lot 3 and the dwelling? Just approximate.
I don't have those calculations handy.
That's fine. I'm just curious. I see that there are steep slopes at the very east of the site and kind of like also in the central area around the trail. Just curious as to, have you all done any soil testing or anything for the septics?
We have not done deep holes on these yet.
And there's no way to get a driveway for lot 2 onto Lakeside at all?
No,
Without-
sir.
Without the easement, the whole 9 yards?
No, sir. There's a stream that runs across the front there, and it has, the flood maps that show that as a, this is all a red zone right across here. All the rest of the property is not in that zone, but it's, the flood maps that I see are showing that that would require, such significant work that it wouldn't be allowed.
What's the, that denoted on there, the Hope Well Water Supply line that runs through that piece of property?
From what my understanding is, there is a surface temporary line. From what I understand from the town engineer, or village engineer, there was a temporary surface-mounted water line that was getting from the well to a pump station that was being removed before last winter. It was not something that they expected to have to bury, is what I was told.
And that's just temporary, that's getting removed?
That's what I was told. Because we asked if that, because it was mounted across the property when the current owner purchased the property, we asked what the proposed ramifications were from the town engineer, and he said it was gonna be removed.
So you don't know if it's been removed yet or not?
I don't see it there.
How recently were the wetlands delineated on this overall 6-acre parcel?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. And are you Golden Rose, or you're
I'm the
just?
spokesperson for
Okay.
Golden Rose, yeah. I just have a standard flood map from Parcel Access that shows the red across the lakeside portion of the property.
So how many acres would lot 2 be, and how many acres would lot 3 be? And maybe it's already in your information, I'm just curious offhand.
I would have to go back into the information and look at it.
Okay.
My recollection was that they were, one was close to over 2 acres and one was a little under 2 acres, and the balance was over 3 acres. Or right around 3 acres for the existing lot 1.
Oh, I see it. Page 4. They've directed me. So lot 1's 2 acres, lot 2 is 1.39 acres, lot 3 is 2.63.
So I was way off. I wasn't even close.
Memory's funny like that. And what's the zoning district this is in?
R40.
What was the zoning, requirement?
R1.
R1?
R1.
Sorry,
This
wrong
isn't
count.
the scale, right? This it doesn't look like one inch.
We're trying to figure it out.
It's just, is lot 3 SSDS, is that the septic area?
Correct.
For lot 2, which is labeled lot 2, number 3 is in the top right, like the northern jog of the property, that corner. SSDS. Here,
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, that's lot 3, yeah.
and that would be the.
That's the septic for lot 3, for the house. Here's the house, here's the septic, here's the house, here's the septic, and here's the existing house and the existing septic.
What this is, so this is, these are the 2 wells on the village,
Yeah.
village water, this isn't.
I think this last box says controls. And it's little.
Oh,
It's probably not to scale because it's an 11 by 17. You know, it's
Yeah.
probably just printed from.
1 inch equals 40, right? So that's not even close. So if that, even if it was scaled out to there, if that's 160 feet.
I'm sure the village has a right of way through this property, correct, to get to the wells?
The village comes in from Grandview over here, and from a cul-de-sac over in here.
Off the lakeside, right?
Yeah, I have a larger map that shows it better.
Oh, yeah, they come from lakeside, right. Just past.
They have, the village comes in off of Lakeside over here, and, yeah,
And
it's
has
all off of
access to
Lakeside,
wells,
yeah.
okay.
The blue is showing the, obviously the village property, the village water district property, and the yellow in the middle is.
Can you tell me where these, how these lines run from the Gumside well 1 and 2?
I cannot.
I wanna make sure that they don't run through lot 2.
That's
Like
what we wanted to find out too, but
Okay.
we were told by the planning board that, or the village engineer, that it was, that whatever line was there was a temporary line, so I don't know the answer to the question. I don't know where the water comes out of it and where it goes.
I think we still wanna find out where those lines go.
Yeah.
Where the water lines go.
This is the water district? What you just gave me?
I'm sorry?
This is the water district outline?
Yes, that's the balance, what you see in the blue in totality is the original 40 acres of Umshide. What you see in the yellow in the middle is what is being questioned, and the blue on either side of that yellow in the middle is what is Village of Pawling Water District.
So this was all Umshide's property at one point?
Yes, sir.
All,
That is my
everything
understanding.
that's
Well,
encompassed in this?
yeah, there was a lot more than that, but this is what was most recently remaining.
Who's owns lot 3? That's not the same owner?
I think that's owned by
Lot-
the village. It
that's
says to
owned by
be
the
acquired
village.
by the village.
Lot 1 and Lot 3 are owned by the village, and Lot 2 was actually, this was.
Yeah, this was kept by the Umshides here, because it had the house
Right,
on it.
see, this, if you look at this is currently what is being shown as Lot 3, Lot 2, and Lot 1. So Lot 1 is village, Lot 2 is the subject property, Lot 3 is village.
All right.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Gotcha. what is this map exactly? This is map of property that was a restrictive covenant prepared for the village.
That's the filed map from when the transaction took place between the village and the original Umscheid owner. This has a restrictive covenant on it, Lot 3.
And lot 1? Or no, just lot 3 though?
I only see that Lot 3 is the restrictive covenant. That's what the hatching is.
That's the catch for the water, basically, is it a sandy gravel, like, well system or something?
I'm not sure.
It's really all marshy down in there.
We'd have to look at the resolution to speak with any real knowledge about what that is. I wouldn't want to guess. You can see the buffers on Lot 1. The DOH regulates 200 feet around wells as part of the sanitary code.
200 it is?
Yeah, so see, look on this. See.
Oh, that dotted line there. Yeah, that's close, huh?
Yeah, runs right up to the border there.
Yeah.
I know it's tight.
Yeah, you're saying what's right in between where the wells are and where the water is for the village, these lots.
Well, I think more than anything, we just need more information from DEC to
Okay.
understand what the implications are.
Understood.
Yeah.
Karen, you're right, we gotta find out what DEC's gonna say over here.
Mhm.
There's too much wetlands involved right here, and they're gonna control this.
Yeah, I mean,
The
they're
wells being there.
the authority on aquatic resources and endangered species. And so we should find out what they think about it before we go any further.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you want me to do between, when I bring that back to you?
You guys have other questions for
No,
him?
not right now.
Yeah, not really.
Do you wanna find out which way the water lines go out, so we know? Yeah. Which way do the lines go out, the Umscheid well lines, do you have any idea?
Do not.
Could you find that out for us too, please?
I can attempt to find that out. It's been a challenge, but I will continue
It's been a challenge working with,
barking up that tree.
working with who and trying to find out?
Getting information from the engineer as to where the lines go.
Are you talking about Dan Stone or somebody else?
I believe Dan Stone, yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I will reach out to him again.
Yeah.
Tell him that I've been asked these specific questions and. Because originally, all we were trying to find out was what they planned to do with the lines that were surface mounted there.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of hemming and hawing, and, then finally we're told that they were being removed.
Mhm.
I find it pretty odd that he wouldn't respond to your
Yeah,
inquiries. that's
yeah,
for
well,
sure.
I need concrete questions to ask, and my question was, are these lines that are running across the surface of our property being removed? And he didn't know because it wasn't up to him to decide,
Okay.
so.
And I'd like to know where the existing well lines are going right now.
Okay.
Once this temporary is removed.
Okay. The lines that feed the village,
Yes.
okay.
Do you have some sense of what the prior owner was planning to do with the property? So like, we know this transaction occurred somewhat recently, and it's a pretty unique shape to the 6-acre parcel. Do you know what the original owner planned to do with it following the transaction with the village?
I think he just wanted to keep access to the back of the property. I don't know how that transaction specifically took place.
Mhm.
I don't know why the village left him with this amount of property and didn't take more, or he didn't sell them more, or why he kept the portion going back into there. I can ask, he's still alive, so I can ask.
I'm just curious if it was
He could be
proposed
he could be a wealth of information. He's given us a lot of history,
Yeah, I
so
mean, I'm
far.
just wondering if it was proposed at that time to remain undeveloped, or if there was another development
No,
scheme
because he
in mind.
well, I don't think so, because when he sold it, he said that this was a possibility of what we could do, so. But I can ask the question.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing to do right now, we're in kind of an information gathering stage.
Mhm.
You know, understanding what DEC thinks about a subdivision on this parcel will
Okay.
help inform the next steps.
Okay. And is there a specific DEC person that I can reach out to that you can point me towards?
If you reach out to the regional permit administrator, and I can follow up with Vivian to provide
Okay.
you some email addresses.
That would be helpful.
And so that would be relative to wetlands, and then the wildlife division would be relative to endangered species.
So I have the DEC for the wetlands, DEC for the wildlife, the well lines for the town engineer. And was there one more thing?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess if you could find out when the wetlands were delineated. And who delineated them. I assume it was all done as part of the transaction with the village, but it would just be good to know if on this particular parcel that was a recent delineation, or if in fact it's old information.
I remember what the fourth one was, history of proposed use by the former owner. So now I have 5. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Is that it?
Is there
Okay.
visible signs that the barway that used to access the back of the property is still there?
Say it one more time.
So off of Grandview,
Off of Granview.
is that still visible signs that was?
Absolutely, it's been driven through in the last several years.
Looks like there's a shed or something built right in the middle of it by the house. Is there?
It might be to the side, but I've driven in from there with Brian McGrath, because he likes to drive his truck on Bacon Lane.
They left that.
Yeah, and that shed may be, that may be an older picture from Google Maps or something.
Right. All right, that's.
I mean, I have a question.
Sure.
From the aerial, it looks like it's obviously mowed. Was that also in hay or in corn or anything like that?
I don't know the answer to that question. I can ask the question.
Okay, and then the following question would be how recent, if it's not, how recently was it in hay or corn?
When the last time it was hay or corn?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's
We
it?
got a little homework, yeah.
I got my homework. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you for your
thanks,
time and consideration. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we move on, I need to change the date on this.
Okay.
I don't trust that it's gonna last. It's September 12th, 2023, planning board meeting.
You're up, Brian.
Alrighty.
12th, 2023, planning board meeting.
Good?
Yep.
All right, guys, ready? Come on up.
So it's been 4 months since we last saw you. In that time, we've had a lot of discussions with the DEC. We got a lot of information from them regarding our plan.
Can you come up to the front so
Oh, yeah, of
that
course.
the recording can?
We got a lot of information from the DEC. You can see we upgraded our site plan a little bit. The subdivision is still the same. All of the measurements for lot 1 and 2 are the same as we originally proposed when this all started 14 months ago. The last meeting, I know I asked the board to come out for a site visit so you guys can kind of visualize everything, see the neighborhood, have a more accurate depiction of what we're trying to do. So if the board wouldn't mind, we would like some constructive criticism on what you saw during the site visit, and if there is anything on the plan currently that you would like us to change, and then we can, talk about the subdivision. I know we were told that the subdivision is the one thing that we're gonna be discussing now and for the public hearing. So I know that's the important piece before we can get into the actual site plan and the building of the house.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a lot of room to do too many different things with that property as far as moving anything around, right? Like,
Maybe you could just talk us through what changed since you submitted
Yeah.
last. I think you moved the driveway.
The driveway for lot 1 was altered slightly, same general area, just a little bit more out of the way and not in front of the house. We know that you made a remark, Karen, with the urban regs that the driveways are supposed to be on the side of the house or in the back,
The parking.
the parking.
Yeah.
So we do have space to make that driveway go to the back of the house, as you can see, so that could be a variance that we could avoid.
Which lot are you talking about?
Lot 1, the current house, the 3-family house.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then, other than that, everything has pretty much remained the same. Based off of the urban regs we did move the house up, I believe 12 feet because of the new 8-foot property lines instead of the 15 in aggregate of 40 that the bulk schedule zoning requires. So because of that, we actually took the retaining wall in the back out. So with our discussion with the DEC, they don't believe that we need a wetlands permit for anything with this new plan.
But I was a little confused with your application. Do you still need the adjacent area permit? So no Article 24, no adjacent area permit?
No, we sent in basically a formal letter requesting concurrence from DEC after the email chain. We haven't received that yet.
Okay.
But yeah, we plan to fully avoid the wetlands, and then we got our unofficial ruling on the bog turtles, but we're hoping to get that in a letter format as well.
But she had still asked for you to submit a permit relative to the turtles?
Because we were at the time anticipating adjacent area.
Oh, okay, so you were still in the adjacent area at that point,
Yes.
and that's why.
Yes.
Okay.
With the urban regs, with us being able to move the house up, we said we're just gonna avoid.
So where's the parking for lot 2?
Lot 2 is gonna be a 2-car garage.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be the existing driveway now, and it's gonna go into an attached garage to the home.
Oh, I see.
And I believe that's beyond the 28 foot. Even in the urban regs, wasn't there about 28 feet that they didn't want parking in the front, but then it was permitted anywhere beyond that 28 foot setback?
Right, it was like, it's permitted on the side and rear. that what you mean, like partially?
Right. I was a little confused on that because they drew the fence line in the front of the property, so I just want to make sure that we were all on the same page with how we were interpreting.
Meaning
those.
you're asking if the parking in the garage is permitted?
It is in the side and the rear.
So, could you just show me where the garage is on this? I just have the footprint of the
Yeah, go
house,
ahead,
so I
Brian.
don't.
So this all out here
Uh-huh.
is the garage, and then it recesses into the house.
Mhm.
So you would just follow the driveway right up into the garage.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that parking standard for side or rear was for outdoor surface parking. I don't think it related to the garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my understanding.
So then the 12.7 feet you feel is large enough. I mean, that's the average size of a general, one-lane road, so
Right.
on lot one to get the cars behind there.
Into the back, yes.
Yeah. Because there's not enough room to really park on the side there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it still requires
Yeah.
some site work and stuff.
I don't want to take over questions. I can come back at a later point and ask more questions. If you guys want to. Want me to keep going?
No, so this is the new driveways on the north corner for the existing house?
Yes.
That's the new driveway.
And what we're saying is
Right
for
up
site
there, right?
plan, when we do site plan to avoid a variance for the urban regs, we could bring that to the back of the house.
What about the minimum frontage build out for lot one? Not much you could do there. Building's existing. It'd be good to see the calc. I think it was 50% of the 102. It looks just from eyeballing it that you're not making 50% there. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll have to finalize those. I just saw your comment on that the other day.
Okay. The other thing was, and I didn't add it up at the front under zoning board of appeals because I didn't know what your intention was, but there's a mandatory garden wall or fence at the frontage line.
Mm-hmm.
So if you all don't propose to include that, then you'd have to seek the variance for that as well.
Do you think that would be a variance for sure? Based
So
on
we have
the
a fire
existing-
hydrant in our front yard, so isn't it illegal to fence that in?
Well, that would be on the highway boundary. It would be behind that.
But then it
most
would be-
likely.
There would be a fence in between my house and the fire hydrant, isn't that impeding?
That's a question for a fire inspector. I mean, certainly there are any number of obstacles between fire hydrants and where they need to go. But I understand your point. I think historically we have required variances for when this can't. I mean, it says it in the urban regs,
Mhm.
mandatory.
Right.
It's hard to wiggle around a
Right.
word like that,
No,
you know.
Yeah, there's also no fences on any of the front yards on the whole street.
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not like you're paying a fee per variance if you have to get this variance.
Right.
You know. But I'm also not trying to push it away as not important.
Right.
It's important, right? It's in
Right.
the
Yeah, that
code,
was
so-
more where I was going, is the existing street, but yeah, it's mandatory, so
I mean,
that's understandable.
You would have to make your argument to the
Right.
zoning board of appeals on that. The other thing is maximum height. So there's I think it was, trying to remember. I think it was like 2.5 stories and 35 feet in the bulk regs, and then it's 2.5 stories in the urban regs, and then that's measured from the street elevation. So we don't have any elevations here. Do you have some conceptual elevations from your architect that could help us confirm?
It's a 1.5-foot story home, so I don't have any concerns, but we can certainly provide
Yeah.
an upfront.
I mean, it's
elevation.
just because otherwise, how do I know? You know.
Right.
Right.
We're minimizing that work as much as we could.
What'd you say?
Said I was minimizing that work as much as I could to just reduce
Yeah.
billing, that's all, but I have it.
I understand.
Is that pertinent information to the subdivision?
It is pertinent information to the subdivision because you proposed to build the house. You know, if we didn't know that you were going to build a house, you know, following the subdivision, then that might be arguable. But at this point, we know you're building a house. We have the footprint on it here.
Right. But there's still gonna be different meetings. We're gonna be heard for a subdivision, and then later on, we're gonna be heard for a site plan. They're two separate things. Or are we gonna be heard for both?
Are they being heard for a site plan?
I don't think
I
there's
don't
a site
believe-
plan, but you still have to adhere to the urban regulations.
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm just saying we keep on adding details to the site plan, even though the subdivision hasn't changed in 14 months. So I feel like there's wiggle room after the subdivision is approved or not approved, because we keep on investing money into this plan, and if the subdivision approved, then it's not approved, then we just continue being billed for things that essentially are irrelevant.
Well, I would not say it was irrelevant. You're not coming back for site plan. You're in a subdivision approval. You proposed a plan, and now we have to make sure it complies. I mean, I'm not making up the rules. Those are the rules.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to figure out, since we are going for subdivision first, and that's our main goal, I just was curious if it was pertinent information to keep on curtailing our site plan to
It's
these
pertinent
minor
because
changes.
you can't get a building permit until you show that you comply with the zoning code. So you could get a subdivision approval and you could get your variance approvals. But if your plan doesn't comply with zoning, you're not gonna get a building permit.
But that's very far down the road.
I understand, but it has to comply with zoning. That is the requirement. That's what the review is for.
Okay, that's fine. So it's pertinent information. We have to keep on changing the site plan in order for subdivision.
Yes, it's
to go
pertinent.
through.
Why would I bring it up otherwise?
I'm just curious. That's why I'm here asking the question.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't propose a house and you just wanted to subdivide it, then, yeah, you wouldn't be necessarily asking these questions. You wouldn't, possibly you just wanted an empty lot that's subdivided that you couldn't build on. Why you'd wanna do that, I don't know. But like, we're trying to tell you, if you do wanna build a house there, which it seems like you do, you're gonna have to do these things. Like, if this is where you're saying you wanna put the house, I mean, it is like kinda on us, because if that's the case, and this is what you're thinking about doing there, and we were gonna grant you a subdivision,
It would be segmentation.
we would, this is information that, make sure that we
Alright.
wanna weigh in on it.
Fantastic.
Do we have enough information to call for a public hearing yet? I mean,
I think we have a lot of information. It's certainly a good time to schedule a public hearing.
yeah,
Mhm.
all right. Yeah, just because there is so many variances, I think probably should be separate public hearings.
How many variants are we looking at here?
Well, I mean,
Four?
I think we put on the public hearing, well, first of all, we're not doing a public hearing for the variances, that's the ZBA. Previously, we had talked about trying to do a joint meeting with the ZBA, but they have to agree to that, right? I mean, you all could motion to invite them to be part of a joint meeting. If I was the ZBA, I would public notice for each of these variances. The submittal date for the zoning board is already passed, so that they would have to submit in October. Maybe between then and now, they'll make some changes and reduce some of these variances. Your public notice is for the subdivision, so, the public notice can just say, proposed subdivision with area variances required from the zoning board. Doesn't have to specify exactly what they are, because that's not your purview.
I don't mean to interrupt. So we can have the public hearing with you prior to getting the variances for the subdivision?
I know it seems backwards, like what's the point of subdividing if they don't keep it, granting a subdivision if they can't get the variance.
We ran into this before when we went prematurely to the zoning board.
Right, because we gotta pass secret. I know it just seems, it does seem backwards, but
So,
I get it.
so both boards have to hold a public hearing, right?
Right.
And I think previously we had talked about combining the public hearings so that you were having to come twice. The village attorney has said that another public hearing has to be held by the ZBA. I understand that they already held one, but he's saying that another public hearing has to be held. So we're trying to make them joint public hearings.
Okay.
But at this point, you require additional variances than what was previously proposed to the zoning board. So it may not make sense to try and do a joint public hearing at this point. You have to have the public hearing before you can grant any approvals, right? Because that's the whole point, to get the public's input. Does that answer the question?
My question is, can seeker be determined from this board prior to the variances being granted?
Seeker has to be determined.
So we do have to come before you, the planning board again, before going to the zoning board.
Absolutely.
So then that's our next step then, coming here for the public hearing with you,
Right.
for seeker to be determined on the subdivision, and then we will go to the zoning board for the variances that we need for that subdivision.
Except that the zoning board can hold a public hearing and not grant the variances the same night. You see what I mean? So we were trying to make it more efficient for you and have the public hearing already, so that there would be a public hearing, then a secret determination, and then the variances, and then the subdivision, if the board so choose. But now things have changed because you require additional variances.
Right.
So the best we can do at this point is schedule the public hearing by the planning board for October 10th. And if they so choose, they could motion to invite the zoning board to attend that public hearing and have a joint public hearing. But unfortunately, the submittal date for the zoning board has already passed, and what they have is an aged application with not all of the variances that you need.
Right.
So I think at this point, it's just, they're gonna have to be 2 public hearings, unfortunately.
That's fine, I just wanna make sure that I'm understanding the sequence of events. So we will have our public meeting with the planning board for seeker to be determined, and I'm sure that will be pending the variances.
Well, so just so you understand, the public hearing doesn't mean that there's going to be a secret determination. The public hearing is the requirement of the code for the subdivision, and that's a standalone thing. In practice, we generally have the public hearing prior to the secret determination because we want the public's input. But the board is not obliged to make a secret determination at the public hearing or following the closing of the public hearing.
Okay.
So at what point, I'm sorry, I'm his wife, at what point would seeker be determined? Because this is just, we're going around here, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, I'm just trying to understand, because as you guys know, we've been in this process for a really long time, and we wanna know, is this feasible or is this not? So I understand.
Seeker can be determined that night after the public hearing.
Absolutely, it can be. I'm just saying they're not obligated to.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay?
I'm just curious too, are there only 3 board members now, or the entire planning board is just 3? Okay, so we would need 2/3 for seeker to be determined.
2/3 of 5.
What,
2/3 of
2/3, that's 3, right?
you're talking about a quorum, right? Yeah.
So if the board were to vote for seeker at the public hearing,
Mhm.
we would need 2 of the 3 votes because there's only 3 board members currently?
Mhm.
Okay.
And same with the approval of the subdivision, which is not the same as the secret determination.
Right. Okay.
So we would have the public hearing for seeker,
Yes.
correct?
No, public hearing for the subdivision.
For the subdivision.
Yes,
Seeker could potentially be determined that night.
that's correct.
And then, do we need to reappear for another public hearing for the subdivision?
No, you'd be done with if they so chose to close the public hearing that night, the public hearing would be done.
Okay. Thank you.
But you would still have to go to a public hearing for the zoning board.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should have a public hearing for these board people.
Yes.
Make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we have the public hearing for this 28 Walnut Street. Let's get this going.
We need a
On
second.
Next
October
meeting,
10th?
October 10th?
Second. October 10th, is it?
Yeah.
October 10th. October 10th.
October 10th.
Are there additional materials you would like for that public hearing?
Do you need any additional materials for,
I don't.
okay. No, I mean, I think we
You
would.
would like the height of the building.
You would need that, okay, so the public hearing is the 10th. When's the submittal due date?
2 weeks from today, right?
This is September 26th.
Okay, so by September 26th, you should respond to the comments.
Yep.
And then you would be in good standing, should they so decide, to receive a secret determination.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we finish the motion. All in favor?
Yeah, sorry, I was just making sure the dates.
Yeah.
dates right.
Oh, okay.
This motion was called for a public hearing October 10th, right?
Yes, it was called October
Yeah, I
10th.
second.
Who seconded the
You made
motion?
the motion, I second, all in favor.
Who seconded?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's tough, when there's only 3 people, because you do forget.
All right, so the public hearing scheduled, yeah, like Karen said, just to answer the rest of the
Okay.
questions she had on here.
Is it possible for the board members to keep what you have tonight so we don't have to submit everything again?
Well, this,
If you guys don't mind?
You only have to submit
Once.
whatever you're responding to the comments.
Oh, that's it, okay.
So if there, I can't remember offhand, but if there are comments that are related to updates to the site plan, then you have to resubmit the site
Well, yeah,
plan.
of course.
But yeah, you don't need to resubmit everything.
And then, yeah, the long EAF form is quite a packet, so.
Yeah, as long as
okay.
nothing changes in there, then that's fine. If you're not moving stuff around on the map, then of course you'd have to submit it.
Right, yeah, so like the driveway will edit, so, okay.
Right, right. Yeah, we have to have, that on
The
file.
exact-
Whatever the final thing is, if it were to go through, it has to be shown on the last thing you give us, that we're to sign off on.
All right, perfect.
So it'll be the same thing with the ZBA. It'll be, I'll draft a public hearing notice and print labels for you.
Okay.
And I'll let you know when that's.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, Brian.
All right, thank you very much.
We know it's a long process, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, thank you very much.
Make some comments. Any more business you want to discuss? No? How are we with, escrow?
We're pretty good. Just paid something that brought them under $2,000. I don't know exactly how much, but they are under 2,000 for escrow.
Okay.
who's that?
And that was paid through, when did you pay the bill, like a week ago?
Yeah, maybe or 2.
Our billings tend to go, I think, mid-month now, so, yes. So I guess you'll be receiving July 15th, to August 15th coming soon. I mean.
Or isn't it August 15th to September?
15th? I don't know which bill you just paid, so, yeah.
We got to get close to the end.
I
with
agree,
them,
I
so-
agree, we're definitely close to the end, I just don't know what's already in the tank. I mean, not much from me, I don't know about Dave. I think it's probably good enough. I mean, the worst case scenario is that I think we have enough time that they'd still be in line for approvals to recoup any overdraws. Right? I think so.
We have a couple more meetings.
Yeah, because they have to go to the ZBA and,
And that's a whole other escrow.
is it?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think you still have some leverage.
And then about 81 Lakeside, the next time they come back, it's a site plan. Or
If he's gonna,
is it?
if
Well,
he's going
yes.
through with it, this was just this was just a sketch conference for now. I mean, if they wanna move forward and submit
they
the
want-
application,
Okay, so the next time they come before the board, it's submitting an application.
let's see what he says
Well,
after he
they-
goes to the DEC and get some answers from them, and then.
Yeah, I mean, he could send that information to you and you can circulate it. It doesn't have to be, I don't think it has to be part of a formal submittal at this point. But if he wants to have the board discuss the project as a formal application, then he would need to submit a formal application.
With
That doesn't keep you all from discussing it yourselves as old business, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right, because we don't have escrow for 81.
Understood.
Okay.
I got a question under old business. What about the library? They drove us crazy for approvals and stuff. I see nothing
Well,
done. It's almost a year now, isn't it?
I think it's over a year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in the building department's hands.
Yeah. I'm just asking, because, I mean, permits only last so long.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if they're in danger of losing their permit, it would be kindly to reach out to them. If their permit's about to expire because they haven't started construction, that's what you're getting at?
There's no
Yeah,
expiration.
haven't done anything.
Is that what we learned from the, okay. So their site plan is still good, is what Rob's saying.
Okay, we're just trying, I'm looking down the road here and trying to protect us, because with this project here in the Pawling Commons here now, not the Commons, I mean, where they're building the four-story building there, I mean, that I hate to look at every morning, but that's okay. It's more than 50 feet in the air already, but not according to whoever designed that plan.
3.5 stories.
You better get a tape measure out and go measure. You're a little short.
Any other business to come before the board?
What's that?
Any other business to come
Oh.
before the board?
Not that I know of.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to protect us there, I mean, and we know what's going on at 146, we're just waiting for them to start. I mean, they're all ready to go now, so I'm tired of hearing people in the village complaining about us, saying it's our fault. It's not our fault.
No? Well, their site plan doesn't expire either, so they're good.
Oh, I mean, you know, we did what we were supposed to do, and everybody's saying, well, it's your fault. No, it's not. It's just people come to the meetings, you find out what happened. Can't change plans without approvals, and that's what they did.
Yeah, it's become very old business.
Okay. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Favor?
All in favor, aye.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Bob, we're finished here. Let's see, no.
Gotta go somewhere.
Make sure it all.
Rob, I didn't vote that stuff up because I wanted to get it into the minutes.